welcome to the Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today, so tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, we are going to be talking about the Season 7 Community Day announcement. We got some patch notes we need to go over and talk about some of the changes and things that we've seen in game, and we need to check in on foxes and see how people are liking them, if you're liking them and stuff. So plenty to go through. We're going to get into it right now. But before we get into any of that, I have to thank the patrons. They're the one that went over to patreon.com, just like you can, to support the podcast and make sure that my bills are taken care of when it comes to uploading, when it comes to paying for the software, all that stuff you guys help take care of. So thank you so much for that support. I wanted to thank People's Republic, L Cute, Balls, Bam Bam Bagel, Captain Hasco, Captain Hayes, who's new, welcome, Chateau Neuf, Zombie Killer, Cloud, Cosmic Johnson, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Fergatron, Trickster, Jabaro5, Carl Embo, Kazia the Rogue, Lumpy SRQ, Dub Goose, Evil Morpheus, Xbox Mike 29, Murphy Lives, Raja the Brave, Regis Stella, Replicated Flame, who's also new, welcome, Rustbell Kid, Norwegian, Skinny Matt, Skamelt 666, Sudesh, Captain Dazzin, That Kilted Guy, TN Professor, Real Big Tuna, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Music Me, Super Pack, The Lore Chronologist, Deadeye Dre, Ghost Boy 20, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Windsor Chris, and Zam. Wow, thank you all so much for your support. It really does help. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you. First off, let's talk about the most prominent and probably the time-sensitive thing, and that is going to be Season 7 Community Day. This is going on September 17th, right in the middle of their Talk Like a Pirate Day celebration, which goes on between the 15th and the 20th. Lots of things can be expected. Not all of them listed, as we got a video this week from Rare kind of talking about what you can expect with the Season 7 Community Day. In the history of Community Days, since we've had these become a thing, we've had some touch and go situations with the servers. So I would be cautious. Plan your time wisely. Make sure that you're paying attention to when you start turning in loot. Don't hoard it all, which they recommended, and make sure that you're turning in on a regular basis. So that way it's not overloading the system. It's not like dumping everything all in one go. If they do have a hiccup, the last thing you want is one of those gilded voyages of restitution. Those are not what you want to get on Community Day. You want to get your reputation. So what you can expect is double gold, double rep throughout the Sea of Thieves Community Day on September 17th. There's also going to be a fixed boost to renown, which is interesting. They're also going to be doing the Sea of Thieves Community Day hashtag. So if you are out on Twitter or social media and you use hashtag Sea of Thieves Community Day, what you'll end up doing is helping boost the emissary for Community Day. Now, they usually let us know when we've reached grade 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And when we hit 5, that's when we actually get some of the interesting things. This Community Day is different in that they are planning to increase the chance of ancient skeletons, which, if you're not familiar, are the things that give you the ancient coins, the things you use in the pirate emporium. So if you want to earn some extra cash to use in the Pirate Emporium, this is going to be the best way to do it. Now, being that today of recording at least is the 4th of September, that gives you just under 2 weeks to be able to put in your time off request to make sure that you take the 14th or the 17th off. Now, may want to, may not want to. It remains to be seen how this Sea of Thieves Fest is going to turn out. I have high hopes. We saw last time they did this that the servers actually did pretty well. I think there was only a couple times where it got a little sketchy when I was playing. and rewards were a little delayed, but eventually we did get those. So I'm hoping that they know how to anticipate for this, that these servers are going to be stable, that logins are going to be stable, and that people are actually able to jump in and have some fun. If you're not sure when the 17th is, that is going to be a Saturday. So plan on that. Plan on Saturday, the September 17th, and you'll be able to jump on and hopefully be able to earn a whole lot of gold, a whole lot of reputation or renown, and hopefully you guys are out doing those ancient skeletons. I 100% would recommend running as many gold hoarder missions as you can, because at least with gold hoarder you can stop at any point. You don't have to worry about a whole bunch of skeletons taking you away or killing you, and you can kind of come back to things too. So I know there's going to be a lot of people on islands trying to get those skeletons to spawn. The sea forts, as we know in the past, are actually really great places to spawn as well too. There's not as much terrain, and you can generally get around the different levels fairly quickly if you have a big enough crew. So just some thoughts. Hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully you guys are able to jump on for the Season 7 Community Day again on September 17th. There's some other things that they are going to be giving away as well too, and we'll probably find out more about those. But as long as you log in on that day, you will also receive the Community Day flag, which they've already released 2 in the past. This is going to be the only way you can get this Community Day flag, and I would imagine that they're probably going to be doing more of the Community Day merchandise on their store. So if you've been collecting the Community Day shirts, this is going to be the chance that you'll have to actually purchase those as well. Getting to what's actually going on besides Community Day, September 19th, if you don't know, is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. Now, this is something that's been going on for a fairly long time, and Sea of Thieves generally does something around the time to kind of celebrate it. And if you don't know, and you're a happy fan of all pirate games, we're actually going to be getting the release of Monkey Island, or the Curse of Monkey Island. The remake of that is going to be released on September 19th, Talk Like a Pirate Day. So if you're a fan of pirates and you've been playing those games, the Monkey Island games, the remake is coming out then. Look forward to that. I don't believe it's going to be on Game Pass, so you may actually have to purchase this one, but it's a fantastic game. I can't imagine that this remake will be any different from that. If you're playing Sea of Thieves, however, you can log in anytime during the 15th through the 20th, which is that 30th to that Tuesday. Now, if you log in, make sure you head over to the Emporium. There's 2 emotes that you're going to want to pick up. The first one is the ARG emote, and the second one is the Ranting Rogue emote. Both of those are going to be made available for free, and during this time, they're also going to be having some heavy discounts in the Emporium. They showed off the Celestial set as the kind of marquee set that they're showing in the video, letting you know that there's going to be a discount. They didn't explicitly state that that set was going to be on sale, but I imagine it and others are probably going to be the ones that you can take a look at to see if there's anything in the Pirate Emporium that you've been wanting to play, or not play, buy. And since you're going to be hopefully working on Community Day, you'll have an opportunity to get some of that ancient coin to pick up some of those sale items. Also, while we're talking about dates, I did want to mention that this is the beginning of the new month in this season, which means we're going to have new ledgers. So you should be jumping on to start working on your ledger position on each of the different trade companies. If you're curious as to the rewards, I believe there's going to be a concertina and a drum for each of the different trade factions, whether it's Reaper Bones, Athena's Fortune, Gold Hoarders, Order of Souls, or Merchant Alliance. They're all the same now, which is a very interesting change compared to the swapped kind of cosmetics that they were doing. Originally, they were doing the weapons and stuff for the Athena's Fortune while everyone else was working on the ship's liveries. And then they swapped when they reached their culmination of their end. And now that they've kind of started off with new cosmetics, they're all the same across the board, which I do think I like better. I do prefer to have kind of everyone on the same page. But if you don't see the drum or the concertina in your rewards, then you may be a little bit behind on getting those. The good news is that, as always with the season, you have a couple months at least to work on this and have an opportunity to catch up. Something I think still needs to be done for insiders in the Sea of Thieves Insiders testing, which is under NDA. So if you are going out, make sure that you are paying attention to the Season 7 Community Day emissaries. You want to make sure that as people are kind of working on those, you keep track of your own, as this is going to be halfway through the month towards the end. So if you've been working on this now, putting it a little bit here, a little bit there, getting your way up to the top tiers, do keep in mind you might want to check in, whether it be through the website or through the game, to make sure that your ledger positions are going to be good post the 20th of the month. You want to make sure that you set some time up between the 20th and I believe it's the 30th. Yeah, because the Halloween's the 31st month. So between the 20th and the 30th, try and plan some time around that weekend if you need to get back up to the top positions for those ledgers. You want to make sure that you get those. So that way you're either getting your way to the current state of cosmetics, or you're getting them out of the way now so you can take a look at the ones that maybe you slipped out of, so you can work on those during October. One thing that was a little unclear, because I'm not sure that I actually saw any dates for these. And unfortunately, I'm just going to leave this up to them giving us a bit more information as time goes on. I was taking a look to see when they are actually going to be announcing the release of certain fireworks crates. Now, in the video that they talked about for the community day, they talked about 3 different crates that you can purchase for free. They're the Community Spirit, the League of Looters, and the Talk Like a Pirate Day firework crates. I believe these are going to be made available between the 15th and the 20th. You can purchase them from the Merchant Alliance in the fireworks section. They are going to be free. And they do give you fireworks that show the little happy people that represent the Community Day icon. The League of Looters, I believe, is a 3 and a skull to represent 30 million players. And the Talk Like a Pirate Day is the squawking parrot that you see. If you see the outline, anytime they do any of the little podcasts, it's usually that little parrot is going to be a firework. So I really like that they're having a way for us to kind of share some fireworks, have some fun stuff. I still think fireworks are probably one of the best fireworks that I've seen in games before, that you have control of. These are definitely the best things I've seen. So it's nice that they're not forgetting about them, because more often than not, they'll introduce a feature and then it's just kind of there. They don't really expand upon it. Like, we haven't really had any kind of changes or expansions to the quest board, which I still believe would be a fantastic way for us to be able to move all of our messages in a bottle to the quest board, so that players actually have a reason to check the quest board and offload some of those messages in a bottles, especially given that a lot of folks are still working on some of those Sunken Listerine bottle quests. You know, I've been talking to some folks. They've been kind of focusing in, narrowing down on some of those commendations that have come in the past few seasons, specifically season 5, I believe it was Sunken Kingdom, where we had the commendation to work on turning in those Listerine bottles. And those little bottles are not always easy to come by. So wouldn't it be great for me, especially when I went and found 3 of them the other day and didn't have any intention of actually getting those done, to be able to throw those up on the quest board? I thought it'd be fun. You know, that way someone comes in, they're like, I'm not sure what I want to do. They head over to the quest board. They see some of the pirate published maps, and they realize that these are some pretty valuable messages in a bottle. Just a thought as we kind of move in away from that and kind of move into the news update that we actually got back on the 31st. So let's dive into that. So as I said, on the 31st, we got a new Sea of News video. I absolutely love these. I've been really enjoying John McMurtry, the voice of Sea of Thieves, doing these. I think it's hilarious when he gets a chance to kind of talk to this, as he usually does, but just in a more personal way. And this was one where a little bit of the stuff is stuff that I've already talked about, but it's worth kind of mentioning because they put the work into the video. So Heart of Fire is now out, which is the latest book by Chris Alcock. If you don't know, you should probably be picking that up and reading through it. There's some pretty good lore in there, and I've been working my way through it as much as possible. unfortunately, it's been a crazy week for me, and I just have been spending most of my time in a ton of video games, and I just haven't had the ability to really sit down and read through stuff. With that being said, I will hopefully be able to read through it over the next couple weeks and be able to do a review of that so that I can actually talk about some of the lore before the next Gold Hoarder episode. They also did talk about something that I know I talked about in previous episodes, but I figured it's worth mentioning as well. There is new trade merchandise for the trade companies in the Rare store. Now, sizes are going to be varying, and they probably won't be able to accommodate the bigger pirates out there, unfortunately. But if you go over there and see something that's in your size, take a look at some of the different trading company merchandise, especially with the shoes. I think the shoes are fantastic. They're not boots, but I can live with that. But I've been thinking about those Reaper runners just for the meme's sake as it is. Then they went into some of the different things that are actually going to be part of the release notes that I'm going to be covering as well. So as we kind of talk about some of these features, I will be referring to the patch notes as well too, so that I can give you a little bit more color as we dive into some of these features. So right now we have some new stuff in the Pirate Emporium. The first thing is the thing that has been on the screen that we've been talking about for a while, that people have been wondering, when are those going to get released? Well, it didn't take too long, but we did find out that foxes are indeed being brought to the game. They're not, unfortunately, something that is going to be released as a reward or for free. They are definitely something that you have to buy. There are 5 variants: the Auburn, the Snowdrift, the Veiled, the Slate, and the Shoreline. Now, I went with the Auburn. I've been holding off on the other ones because of the Community Day announcement. I wanted to see if I could get enough ancient coins to take care of Season 8's Plunder Pass, but then anything after that, I was going to probably spend on other stuff in there. Especially given that we have a lot of stuff that's actually come recently to the Pirate Emporium that I really like. I think it's really good. But I did buy the Auburn Fox. I think it's hilarious. I was told by multiple people that I need to name it Todd in reference to the Fox and the Hound Disney film. And while I think that that is a good reference, I do think that is a very sad thing. So for the time being, I did name it Todd, but I named it after Todd Howard over from Bethesda, who's working on Starfield, because I want to see how that game comes out. And it's the only way I could get Todd and then use that as kind of a play on words. So shout out to Deadeye Dre and Ern, who gave me some good ideas during the stream that I had this weekend where I was asking for names. I think Deadeye Dre had recommended Todd Howard, and Not a Cat, I believe, was the other suggestion that came out of that. So I went with Not a Cat for a while, and that was great. But then I settled on Todd Howard. I'm kind of tempted to go with Robin Hood just because I believe the Auburn is the same color scheme as the fox from the Robin Hood Disney film. I'd have to double check on that. I should know that off the top of my head, given my degree in animation, but I'm, for some reason, I feel like I'm second guessing myself. But with that, I'm really excited that we're getting more pets. I think it's fantastic. I think it's great to see more pets come in. And if anything, I'm hoping that we get more and more pets as we go. Different animals. It is kind of an odd stretch to find fox as the one that we're going with. I imagine that we probably would have been going with bigger primates or chimpanzees, maybe baboons, things like that. I was expecting bigger mammals compared to the foxes with the kind of the canines and stuff. But you know, it's not, you know, they do what they want. I'm not going to tell them what they should be putting in and out of the Emporium. That's for them to figure out, and I'll just sit there and decide if I'm going to buy it. On top of that, they came out with a new ship set called the Mandrake ship set, which speaks to my Harry Potter fandom, but it doesn't look like a mandrake. Or maybe I actually have no clue what the heck a mandrake is. Everything I know of mandrakes comes from Harry Potter books. But according to the Mandrake ship collection, The ship collection will appeal to anyone with a green thumb and love of the eerie side of nature. In addition to the main bundle, a very snappy collector's figurehead and collector's sails can be purchased separately. A Mandrake Essential Ship Bundle is also on offer, including just the core ship cosmetics at a discount. So if you're not familiar, what they're referring to with the snappy figurehead is it looks like a Venus flytrap that closes and opens as it's, I guess, just on a timer. At this point, I'm not actually sure how they determine that, but I'm assuming it's probably on a timer. And with that, they decided to come out with a Mandrake costume. The description here is half man, half plant, all deadly. Form a bond with the mysterious Mandrake plant by wrapping up in this leafy outfit, which now when they say that, like form a bond, that is like on Venom levels of disturbing that I really don't know that I want to dive into. While wearing the Mandrake costume, players can perform the personal growth emote, which has some really weird connotations to it in my mind. And I think this is kind of a perfect opportunity for me to kind of step aside from the discussion that we're having and bring up a point that I feel like really kind of itches me the wrong way. Like I've got an itch I can't scratch and I got to talk about it. And while we're talking about costumes, I want to address something that happened in the game as a result of the latest patch. And it came with this patch because I was sailing around with some friends and we were using the quote unquote Pedal Storm emote that is accompanied with the Plunder Pass costumes for this season. And when you do the Pedal Storm emote, you would pull out one of those kind of twirling, flaming tiki torch guys, and you would spin it around and have some really cool flame effects. And while one of my friends who was doing it had really, really weird results, results that I've never seen anyone else actually get. The flames never stayed attached to the actual little flaming tiki torch balls. They kind of stuck in midair, and it did look cool, but it was definitely not what was expected. Now, as I'm speaking right now, that emote is something that is being given for free to people who have purchased the Plunder Pass. And the reason for it is because that costume no longer has that emote. And you may be thinking that's a ripoff. What the heck happened? Why did they take away my emote? And it's because they changed the Pedal Storm emote. Now, when you do the Pedal Storm emote, it's still named the same thing, but it has a different emote. You hold up your hands in a little cup as if you're collecting water from a spigot or something. And there's a little ball of magic. I don't know what the magic is. I don't know what the magic does. But you then kind of blow into your hand and send out little magical petals. Now, not quite the storm I was expecting. You know, when you say storm, I think actual storm, not blowing a daffodil out of your hand like you're in some sort of, I don't know, laundry detergent ad. But I was okay. When they changed this, I was pretty upset because I was like, you know, you took my tiki torch thing away. Little tiki torch thing. I love that. I was really happy with it. It was very fun. It worked out great for this Plunder Pass's cosmetic and the costume. Fantastic pairing, by the way, with some of the other emotes in the game. And I really liked it. I thought it was beautiful. I didn't want them to lose it. So when they took it away and they replaced it with this quote unquote new Pedal, storm, I was rather miffed. So I went into the Pirate Emporium and found out that it is a separate emote now. That separate emote, I believe, costs $2.99. Unfortunately, it's hard for me to verify that because it was given to me as a result of this error. Now, if you have it, or if you have the costumes and you earned that costume, which was not hard, you only had to hit level 1, I believe, or maybe 5 in the Plunder Pass, but you did have to purchase the Plunder Pass to get this. It is in your emotes at the very end. So you need to go in, you need to take a look at it, and you can apply that emote. The perk here is that you can look however you want while doing this emote, whereas previously the emote was tied directly to the costume. Now you can actually wear what you'd like and actually spin little flaming tiki torches or whatever they're called, and be able to have unique outfits. If you want to get the quote unquote trash and Lord curse and pretend like you scarred yourself up like we did this weekend, you're more than welcome to do that. But for all intents purposes, they've removed the previous emote, put it in the store at a separate cost, and anyone who had purchased the Plunder Pass prior to this update was able to get that on top of the new emote, the quote-unquote Pedal Storm, in the emote that is part of the costume for the Plunder Pass. So hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully it's not too confusing, but it's very interesting that this wasn't well advertised when they were talking about some of the changes in this in the season patch. All right, I wanted to run down some of the other items that are coming to the Plunder Pass. If you haven't checked these out, maybe you should. You know, maybe they speak to you. But they've got the Mandrake speaking trumpet. It's a word. Mandrake weapons, which are kind of interesting. If you were around during the time that we had the, gosh, what was it? The pumpkin set that was coming out during Halloween. That's probably going to be the closest representation to what you can expect with the Mandrake set. There's also the Admiral weapon pose emotes, which I actually really love these. And then there's the quote unquote Axe Me Anything emote bundle, which I'll be honest, I didn't really like the way that these were represented in the video. I like the emotes themselves, but the way that they were presented didn't really feel right to me. And if I'm not gonna, if anyone else is not talking about it, then I'm gonna let it slide. And then the Torch Twister emote, that's what they called it. The Torch Twister emote is the one that was previously on the costume for this season that they put in the season pass. And then if you went ahead and bought the Plunder Pass, then you should already have that. The free emote this season is the freebie Reluctant Wave emote. It's a coy little hand wave that might be covering a deep reluctance to getting trapped in a conversation with someone. Ooh, the text that they write for this stuff cracks me up sometimes. And then, just to let you guys know, there is a store-only bundle. The bundles I usually recommend because the bundles are typically around $16 and you get 550 ancient coins plus 25k gold in-game for you to be able to use towards other stuff. This is the Beautiful but Deadly bundle. This is available from the Xbox, Microsoft, and Steam stores. This bundle contains the Mandrake costume, the speaking trumpet, and the weapon bundle, plus the aforementioned coin in gold for that. So you also get a, gosh, what is it? 10% discount, I believe, when you have Game Pass Ultimate too. So if you're using Game Pass Ultimate and you want to save some money on the bundle, perfect way to do so. Plus you get a little bit of ancient coin. I love when I do this. I like to do this when they have the bundles because I'll get the cosmetics, but then I save the ancient coins and I try to put that towards what I earned back from the previous bundle or from the previous Plunder Pass. So that way, when the next season comes in, not only have I got the cosmetics for the bundle that I like, if I like the bundle, but the ancient coins from that, plus the ancient coins that I've earned from the Plunder Pass are enough to pick up the next season's Plunder Pass. Just kind of how I work that out. They did put a little bit on here, so I figured I'd read what they actually said so that you understand kind of the thing that I just talked about as far as the baleful bloom costume. That's such a hard thing for me for some reason. With the baleful, see, I messed it up again. With the baleful bloom costume equipped, Season 7 Plunder Pass owners can now perform the quote-unquote pedal storm. Now, as designed, the previously included Tiki Twister emote was not intended to be part of this costume. I think that was a mistake. Personally, I actually think that it paired really well with the Baleful Bloom costume. Ooh, I got it that time. However, owners of this costume who enjoyed the Tiki or see, now I'm messing that up. You guys, the alliteration's great. I love the alliteration. It's hard to say fast. The Torch Twister emote will still be given the use of this emote at any time via their vanity chest. Please allow for a few days for this to appear. All other players will be able to purchase it separately from the Pirate Emporium, which I think was a bummer, because if you'd like that and you purchased it, you still got it. But if you found out about it, but had been holding off to purchase the Plunder Pass, because you didn't know if you were going to hit the 100 levels or not, but you weren't sure if you wanted to get the money or you weren't able to get it right away, and then they change it, it's like, that sucks. It sucks to hold out. It feels like there's a little bit of FOMO there, which I'm not a huge fan of. But that's kind of the main thing that's going on with the Emporium that came out with this update. Ahoy there, pirates. This is the ad for this episode, and I did want to let you know, if you wanted to avoid these and just get a regular filler, you can head over to the Patreon. There's a special feed just for patrons that get the ad-free version. If you want to keep listening, though, I can't say I blame you, because this week I want to let you know about Loot Crate and getting 15% off of most crates and crate subscriptions when you use the link and code RobotsRadio in the show notes. Also, you can head over to audiobooks.com, get your first 3 audiobooks for free, and that can include any 2 VIP books, or use the affiliate link for Green Man Gaming. If you're a PC gamer or you'd like to save money on games, it's one of the benefits of being a PC gamer. Head over to Green Man Gaming. You can get codes for Steam, Epic, any of the different stores that they have deals going on. They have deals going on all the time, and if you plan on buying there, please consider using our affiliate link. All of that goes straight to me through the network. Thank you all so much for everything that you do to support this podcast. It means the world to me, and I continue to try and improve the quality and the content for you. With that, pirates, let's get back to the show. So with this update, there were a couple hotfixes. One of them addressed the glitch that people were abusing, where if you put down a Veil voyage and you got a shipwreck, you could cancel the voyage and all of the loot that was in there would float to the surface. People were apparently throwing these down, checking to see if they got the ship graveyard first where it was, canceling it, and then cycling through a whole bunch. And then wherever they found like a whole bunch in the same location, they would sail over there, scoop up all the loot, and then go turn it in. Obviously not intended, abusing a glitch in the system or a exploit in the system. So I heard that there were actions being taken against people who were doing this. I don't try to game the system. I just like to play the Vidya game, because that's the type of lowercase g gamer that I am. So when I heard about this, I was really surprised. I was not terribly surprised that people were doing it, but I was pretty surprised that was the actual result of what happened. But that's been fixed. Some other things that have been fixed but haven't been fixed. Let's dive into the notes here. They wanted to give us an update. One of the updates says hit registration networking improvements. Networking improvements have been made to the location and timing of player shots, providing a small improvement to hit registration for ranged weapons when firing at players on islands. Now this is great, except for I saw on Reddit, and thanks to the community for putting this out there as well, because they posted it in the Discord as I had seen it around the same time. Blocking with your sword still shows that you were blocking, but it is 100% broken right now. It does not actually prevent damage being done. You can attack someone, and if you're hitting them with your sword and they are blocking, it is most likely the case that they are still taking damage, which means if you hit them 4 times, they dead. They don't dead. They got a ticket to go visit the ferryman. They're gonna go say hi, send your regards. That's a real bummer, because I love the sword. I think the sword is one of the best weapons in the game. I think the flintlock pistol and the sword are the best combination. I only ever feel like I have to double gun when I'm getting into a fight and I have to defend the ladders, in which case it's probably going to be blunderbuss and a flintlock or an eye of reach, because I need to have something short range, and the cutlass does not prevent people from getting up the ladders, whereas a blunderbuss does. But I need something long range, which would typically be my flintlock. In the instance, I need to get a lot of damage in, and that's generally what the eye of reach is, unless I'm going to be sniping. I'm not a huge fan of double gun, if you can tell. I use it whenever I need to, but for the most part, I kind of like my sword jumps, and I kind of like my swords in general. I like having a weapon that doesn't have ammo, because it's really good against skeletons, or anything really. Plus, sword lunge jumps through ocean crawlers is a really good tactic. It's not intended, and I think that, you know, if it gets fixed, it gets fixed. Not a huge deal. They fixed double bucketing, which was a thing, but they also killed double digging, which I was bummed out about. But at the same time, it fixes one thing, and if it balances the other thing, then so be it. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is Sunken Merfolk statues. Crews storing treasure in Sunken Merfolk statues, which, if you're not familiar, are the statues that are in and about all of the treasuries, as well as the shrines, the things that you can store up to 20 items in those Merfolk statues. While beneath the waves let me start over from this actually. Crews storing treasure in Sunken Merfolk statues while beneath the waves will find upon surfacing that the friendly merfolk now appear closer to the ship for easier treasure retrieval. If you're not sure why this was fixed, what would happen is you would come across one of the shrines, you would park near the little Aurora Borealis kind of like mystical swirling indicator that there's a shrine down below the depths. And when you park there, if you put anything in the merfolk statue, when you came back up, the merfolk were typically pretty far away from the actual ship. And then you'd have to swim out and then tell them to release all the loot. They'd swim down. All the stuff would float up, but it'd be really far from the ship, so you had to use the harpoons. Seems like it's going to be a little bit nicer. They're not going to be as squeamish as they were before. The other update that they put in here is a weird one to address now, and I still don't really understand what's going on, because it addresses pigs. And you might be thinking, why is Rare touching pigs? Pigs have been fine ever since they changed the health of how long it takes to kill animals, which was originally 3 hits with a sword down to 1 hit. Now they've made a change to pigs. Captured pigs will take a little longer before becoming hungry, and the time before these hungry pigs subsequently perish has also been increased. This was a weird thing to address. I didn't realize that this was something where people were like, man, there sure aren't enough bananas out in the world that I'm not eating to be able to feed this pig with. But apparently that's a thing. Apparently they needed to address this. The trouble is that when they did this, I started to notice in nothing that I could scientifically for certain say, but in my testing, I've had variable hit registration issues or just health fluctuations with pigs. Like, I've killed pigs in 1 hit, and then sometimes it takes 3 eye of reach shots to kill a pig. Sometimes it takes 2 flintlocks to kill a pig, and I'm a little confused. I don't know if this is, causation and correlation are 2 very different things. It's hard to know if the change to feeding pigs changed something to the way their health works, or maybe this was just server fluctuation and anecdotal evidence. It's really hard to know sometimes, you really have to have people getting a lot of data together to be able to test this out. So if you started to notice like pigs taking a couple more hits to kill than they used to, feel free to let me know that I'm not crazy. Maybe it was just a bad server day. It's hard to know. Let's get into, let's see, what else should I talk about? Milestones. Let's talk about Captains of Adventure. Captain Stash Voyages. A new set of captains. Voyages has landed in the shipwright's shop. Captain's Stash Voyages. These give captains and their crews the chance to find a range of items and crates that will prove useful to any professional pirate out there on the Sea of Thieves. Players have a chance to find resource crates, firebomb crates, ammo crates, gunpowder barrels, tridents, Ashen Wind Skulls, and even Emergent Voyages. Now, I don't know if folks are aware, but I think this might be a bug because I heard anecdotally from someone in a certain Discord that apparently there is an opportunity when you dig up some of these things that you will get the Ashen Wind Skulls, but you might also get a chest of legends. Now, I'm not saying go dump all your money into Captain's Stash Voyages because it could be changed at any point, and then you'd be really upset. You'd be like, Logan, why the hell did you tell me to do that? I totally spent all of my money on Captain's Stash Voyages. I don't want all of these tridents. And I would tell you, that's why I think you should hold off. Maybe buy a couple, but don't go dumping your whole gold stash into these things, especially given that the gold hoarder one right now, or actually, no, not the gold hoarder one. The gold hoarder one's fine. It's which one was it? It was the mercenary one. I was playing on Saturday, as I typically do when I can, with the crew, with Davram over at the Pirate Talk Radio and part of my crew. And from the Keelhauled Discord, me and a fairy and usually Big Bad Pad, we were wandering around and we were checking out some of the new Voyages because I'd heard about this interesting rumor. And I found out that apparently one of the Captain Stash bundles for the mercenaries is listed at 25,000 gold for up to level 25 reputation with the Gold Hoarders, the Merchant Alliance, and the Order of Souls to be able to buy the mercenaries. Yet that's the requirement. You just have to hit level 25. Now, the trouble here is that all of the other ones are listed at 25,000 or 2,500, I should say, 2,500 gold, right? This one, I believe, and they are the ones that told me that this has got to be the case because I bought them at 25,000. I bought them at 25,000. I bought one stack of 5, and it looks like this is supposed to be 2,500, and it looks like Rare has added an additional 0. So if you're looking for the mercenary bundles, hold off on buying the ones that are for 25 grand because I'm pretty certain, based on the rest of the pricing for the other mercenary voyages, and conferred with my cohorts as we were sailing around, that it must have a pricing error, which means I'm probably not going to get the other 22,500 gold from that. I feel like I bought it for the sake of really punishing myself for some reason. But there are new Captain's Voyages out there. I wanted to make sure that you guys aren't buying the one that's for 25 grand. You probably wouldn't. You're probably not like me thinking like, oh, I bet it's something unique. I bet it's something cool. Oh, I bet we get something really fantastic, only to find out that it's not fantastic to lose 22 grand on a bundle of Voyages because going into it that there's most likely a chance that it's actually just a bug. I have not reported it. This is kind of me reporting it. So Rare, if you're listening, I love you, but there's a bug. Hopefully people aren't wasting money on it. So Captain's Voyages now have the Captain's Stash Voyages. These are going to be a great way if you are looking to stock up. If you've already purchased supplies from the shipwright, if you've already bought crates from the Merchant Alliance, and you still need more for whatever reason, these are now going to be a way for you to pick up, again, resource crates, firebomb crates, ammo crates, gunpowder barrels, tridents, Ashen Wind Skulls, which I've been working on my burning skeleton ships with the Ashen Wind Skulls. I did really good this weekend. I got 4 down from the 6 that I needed, and I was really happy about that. So I just need, I think I got 3 down. Yeah, I got 3 down. So I just need 4 more, and I'll be able to check mark off that commendation, not accommodation, but commendation. And this might actually help me get one of those without having to wait for the actual event, which means that for all intents and purposes, that is a pretty expensive skull. Not going to lie. I think it's, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that we had talked about it and it was 25,000 to be able to get one of those and then turn it into Reapers. And if you turn it in at grade 5, it's like 1.5 times, or it's like 2 times that, or 2.5 times that at grade 5. So you can get a lot of gold if you happen to find those Ashen Wind Skulls. So you might want to take a look at that. I don't know, maybe just a thing, just a thought out there in the wild. People fighting over chest of legends and Veil Voyages. There's Ashen Wind Skulls buried in Captain's Stash Voyages. I gotta go take a look at that now that I'm thinking about this. Also, hey, you know what? All those previously disabled milestones. Well, let's read a little bit here in the show notes and see what's going on with them. Captains and their crews can now earn progress towards a number of previously unavailable player and ship milestones. Completing quest board maps, which again, I talked a little bit earlier about my feelings on this, now progresses the quest board maps completed ship and pirate milestones. Nice to hear about that. Discovering captain ships now progresses the captain ship spotted ship and pirate milestones. Selling items to the Hunter's Call now progresses the provisions sold to the Hunter's Call ship and pirate milestones. Ransacking sea forts, one of my favorite things to do, now progresses the sea forts conquered ship and pirate milestones. And then performing essential ship maintenance now progresses the repairs made pirate milestone. A lot of those are actually some of my favorite things to do. I love checking out the quest board. I love discovering ship captains. I love selling stuff to the Hunter's Call. I love ransacking sea forts. Seriously, it's like one of my favorite little things to do. Just pop on, head over there, 30 minutes, bada bing, bada boom. You got some loot. You put it on the ship. You go turn it in to the sovereigns, and you're done. You're good. You're out. It's easy. It's a perfect lunch break. So those are all apparently working now. I don't know if this is definitely something going on. I don't know what setting this is. I've checked my settings, but currently I am not seeing my milestones. It's been kind of a bummer to have a brand new system in place. And every time I sail on my ship, I don't see pirate or ship milestones. People tell me that they're popping and they tell me what they are. And I can go in and check them, but I'm not seeing the notification. And all of my notifications are turned on. All of my island notifications are turned on. All of my, what are they called? Season pass notifications are turned on. I've toggled them. I've restarted the game. I've played on different clients. It's just something, I don't know what's going on. They're bugged for me right now. And it's a real honest bummer because it's the one thing that this whole season is based around. And I don't get to see when the little check boxes get marked off. And, you know, when you play this game and you're playing this game and you're playing this game and all you have are the new stuff to kind of give you those check boxes, you don't have the reputation anymore. Gosh, it's a real bummer. To have to live with the idea that you're just not seeing the things other people are seeing. And it's kind of a bummer. So let's see. Let's talk about what this next one is. Skeletons Vanquished milestones. An issue was identified causing the Skeletons Vanquished pirate milestone and Skeletons Vanquished crew ship milestone to progress faster than intended with larger crews. I didn't know about this. While this issue has now been resolved with update 2.6.1, which is the current one, the individual tallies have been reset to ensure the totals are correct for all players moving forward. Wow. That's, man, reading that now, I'll be honest, that's a real sucky thing because, generally with Sea of Thieves, as much as I love this game, bugs do not always go away. Bugs sometimes come back or linger beyond the quote unquote fixed state. And I could definitely see this being an issue if there's a bug and it pertains to something like this, where crew size varies the amount that's earned through these milestones. And if their only resolution is reset the tallies, I don't see that being really cool with people who've been playing for 6 months to a year or 2 years or 4 years, and this pops up. How do you address that in a way that isn't like, well, we're so close to launch, we might as well kick it back down to 0. Bill, I'm gonna need you to walk over to that days without an accident and reset it back to 0 because I can see this happening. So that's a real bummer there. I hate to see that. So hopefully that does not become a major thing. Players will no longer be able to delete items that are placed in collector's chests while holding another captain's logbook, which, man, they put a lot of fixed issues in here. And it's almost too many to go through. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put in the show notes as per usual in the links section. There will be a link to the actual show, or the actual what are these called, patch notes, for this update. So if you want to go through all of them, you're more than welcome to go through all of them. But for the most part, there's a bunch that have been kind of the main things that really haven't. There've been little things. There haven't been two major things. The one that seems to be getting everyone upset is the removal of Captain Quick Dickon, which if you've heard me talk about the books, you know that they're written by Chris Alcock. Chris is a fantastic person who has a very funny name for a last name, but is a very old English last name. Same thing with Captain Quick Dickon. It is based off of a rare employee, but because that skeleton was in the game, it kind of it was kind of like the exception to the rule for ship naming situations where people are like, well, why can't I name my ship this? And they're like, well, that word is not allowed in our list, even though guzzler is, which I'll be 100% honest, you can't use drunken as a word for naming your ship. Like, you can't call it the Drunken Sailor if you want to call your galleon that, or your sloop that, or whatever you want. You can't use the word drunken, even though drunken is actually the name of the song that you play when you hear the Drunken Sailor, but you can't actually, and I think Drunken Duncan is the skeleton captain for Craig Duncan, who's the studio head over at Rare. So Drunken is in the game, and much like Quick Dickon, a lot of people found it immaturely amusing, and a lot of people were really sad to find out that Quick Dickon was removed from the game. Now, I had no concerns about this. I didn't care if it had been removed or if it had been kept. It's a person's name that they put in the game as a skeleton captain. As someone who has a skeleton captain in the game, I would hope that I could at least change my name if for some reason the word Logun gets banned and they can't use Logun anymore. I don't know, maybe it's the future and we're still going in Sea of Thieves. We haven't quite hit the golden age of piracy. We're really close, and then someone's like, I'm going to use the word Logun for a derogative term, and totally destroys like every episode of the X-Men with Wolverine, all of the movies, all of the comics. They have to change his name to something like Wolverine or Rogan or Jordan, and Logan is forever tainted. I would hope that they at least reach out to me and they're like, hey, we know your name's Logan. We know that Logan's a bad word nowadays in the future of 2020. Or 20, we'll go with 2042. We'll go 20 years from now. The word Logan is outlawed. And they're like, hey, we're still doing Sea of Thieves. We're getting super close. We finally took out Flameheart. We finally took out Duke. We finally took out Captain Hook. We've brought back all of the famous people like Teach, and Teach has turned good, and he's now buddy with the pirate lord, and they're both dead, but they're planning on resurrecting themselves so that they can get married and have a new family, while DeMarco is off having little kids over at New Golden Sands with Wanda, and Merrick is decided to divorce his wife even though he's already dead, and marry Belle, and Belle and Merrick are off having adventures on their own ship, where Belle is now the figurehead and Merrick is captaining the ship. And they've decided that Logan is no longer a good word. And they reach out to me and they say, hey, Logan, we know that you've had to change your name from Logan to Jordan, and or Frank. We'll go with Frank because I actually know Frank. He's a funny guy. But let's go. What do you want to have as your captain name? And then I have to change it. I hope that Captain D in the game got an opportunity to change his name to whatever he wanted it to be if they were going to remove his original skeleton captain name. And I hope that they take a serious look at some of the words, because you guys have to have a list of all the names out there, right? You got to be able to like pick a word like guzzler and throw that into your code, filter out anything that has that, and say like that name is no longer valid. You get a free reset of your name. Don't pick anything that has guzzler in it, so you don't have to worry about that word. Because if you can't have drunken, why should you have guzzler? That's what I'm saying. And also, I don't know why Logun is. Whatever happened in the world that caused Logun to be outlawed, I apologize in advance for that. Also, if you like my fanfic, I'll be doing a reading of that in the next episode when I decide to come up with some even stupider things to predict for Sea of Thieves. Maybe someone will make a video of that. But there's a whole bunch going on with that. I genuinely am bummed that they took out that captain. It's a shame to hear, but this is what it comes down to. You want to make sure that you're making a safe environment for people. And because of that, sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and sometimes you do it respectfully, and sometimes you do something that really does not, like, you never know what's going to hit with the community. This unfortunately hit with the community, unlike the Fu Manchu that was put out. That didn't hit with the community. A lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot, I would say a vocal minority on the internet were upset that was being taken out of the game. Whereas they're being upset that it's being taken out of the game because it's an innuendo for all intents and purposes. So it's a shame. Hopefully this is one of those situations that they're able to work it out. RIP Quick Dickin'. I hardly knew you. Currently, right now, Vale shipwreck graveyards are temporarily disabled, obviously because of the exploit that was going on in that. So they've turned that off. The shaved. Wow, it's getting late. The saved ship commendation or customizations not persisting is still an issue. They run into that. And then, of course, they have the reduced server performance, and then ranged and melee weapon hit detection still is a known issue for the game. One of the things that I did want to bring up just briefly, and I'm not gonna really labor on this because obviously this is something that's going to be coming in the future. But we did find out that there is a new set of ship flags that are tied to ship alignments. And I'm not going to spoil it, but 2 of the ship alignments are going to be tied heavily to, from what it looks like, 2 very large factions in the world. And if this is stuff that's coming in the future that accidentally made it to retail, I am ecstatic if this is what this means, because the 2 flag types that they're showing here, really, and if you've been listening to this show, I've been beating the drum about having factions, at least factions that you can kind of align with, and having that agency over your character's history in future. And if this is what I think it is, I cannot wait for season 8 or 9 or wherever the hell. I mean, it's got to be close, right? It's got to be 8. If it's already in the game files and they've already got artwork and they've already got descriptions for it, I'm hoping that this is season 8 content, because now I just want to know more. And that was a hotfix that had that stuff removed out of the game, by the way. There was a hotfix. No one was like, oh, what was this hotfix? What did they do? Did they finally add back the Kraken? Did they finally put in the Shrouded Ghost? No, they took out the stuff that slipped. But there are new book covers for the ship cosmetics, the ship decorations, and then new flags that got leaked into the actual game from sources unknown to me. But I'm excited when reading through what I saw the photos of. I missed the opportunity to jump in and check these out. And when I found out that they were leaks, I was like, oh, God, that sucks. I tried to avoid them for the most part, but it was one of those things where I can talk about this vaguely enough. Like, you can find the files out there. If you want to go find the pictures of them, then you can. They're out there. But I figured I could talk about it vaguely enough to maybe like give you an understanding, like why we had a hotfix the other day. Because a lot of people were like, well, why do we get a hotfix? Well, it wasn't because of the shipwreck graveyard thing that was addressed in the patch. This was like, oh crap, we left the light on and we went on vacation and we forgot to turn the light off. So they had to go back home to turn the light off. So that's pretty much what happened. So, and I think that's, I think there's some stuff going on with the mystery right now. There's we found out that there is a spyglass, that is Lassetti spyglass. There was a tweet that went out that kind of gave us an idea about the truth, the real truth, not the lies that we've been seeing in the Pirate Legend Tavern. But the real truth is out there, and Mulder and Scully are on the case. They're out there. They are hunting the real spirits. They're hunting the truth. They're trying to get down to it. They're trying to look past all the politics and find out if we can figure out what the truth is behind DeMarco's death. And there's been hints that the light in the flame is not what you think it is. And if that is rare, basically saying, Logan, you're wrong about DeMarco's soul being in the flame, in the lantern, then you know what? I really don't like you, because I like that theory. I think that theory is fantastic, and I'm ashamed of you for not giving me the opportunity to be right again, because I was already right about Duke. I'm right about Hook. I'm right about Crooked Masts being terrible. This was just like one more notch on the club, right? And I feel like you guys, you don't have to give it to me, but it's a easy layup right there. It's right there. I called it forever ago, and I feel like it's an easy layup, and I love you guys. So, maybe just a little bit of a hint there. Maybe just like it is a soul. It may not be DeMarco's soul, but it was definitely a soul. And I was like, I didn't think it was going to be anyone else's soul. So I'm okay with it being a soul. I was half right. Maybe we'll go with that. Maybe you guys like that. Let me know what you all think of the update. How are you guys doing? Are you doing it okay? Are you excited for the upcoming community day? Are you excited for Talk Like a Pirate Day? Are you taking off time? I am going to try and take off time. I want to take off time and go find a whole bunch of cursed skellies or ancient skellies to be able to get some free money in the game, because I'm not a partner. I don't get the perks. I gotta go out there and farm ancient skellies like the rest of us. So I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to take a day off, and hopefully. Oh wait, no. What did I say? That was the 17th, Saturday. I am so stupid. This is why you guys always make fun of me. It's on a Saturday. I already have the day off. I don't have to request the time off, because I don't work retail anymore. I don't do service anymore. I finally made my way into a desk job where I'm pushing the pencils from 9 to 5, and I'm not out on the street trying to make a difference in the world while I'm stuck here writing paperwork for all you people. And I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm trying to do like a stupid flat foot thing, and it's not going well, but I think it's time for me to get done with this episode. So we're going to close it out. So Pirates, if you enjoyed this episode, definitely let me know. Definitely. I've been putting up the video version up on YouTube. Likes and subscribes go a long way with YouTube. I like them. I don't need them, but they go a long way for YouTube. So if you happen to like this, if you enjoyed the content, it comes out every week. You can always let me know what you think down in the comments. I see all the comments all the time. I read them. I don't always respond, but I do read them all. And because I'm not that popular, so it's easy. And with that, if you want to get a hold of me, there's plenty of ways to do that. Head over to Twitter on at CAPT_LOGUN. You can always send me in emails at CAPTLOGUN@gmail.com. You can always join the Patreon. You can send me messages through there as well too. There's the Discord with the Sherpa program. They are currently working on setting up a better schedule for people that are in the UK, people that are in the US, and then people that are in Australia, to better accommodate when people are available, to see if you can go do stuff like that. I'm trying to think what else is there. The Discord's there. That's good. I do stream from time to time. I've been streaming some of the games that I generally like to play on a regular basis. So I've been jumping into Sea of Thieves. Obviously I've been jumping into Destiny 2. I've been streaming the raids from those when I can. And I'm trying to think, I was thinking about doing WoW. I was thinking, I don't think anyone wants to watch me play WoW, but I play WoW, or I play Heroes of the Storm, and I could play those games for hours. That's easy. It's super easy for me to play those for hours, but I don't think anyone's interested in those games. So maybe I'll throw the stream up for some PlayStation games, being that I I can do that pretty easily. That's actually, it's good software too. Like Xbox really needs to rip off the software they used for streaming to Twitch, because it's easy, intuitive, and reliable. So yeah, that's got to be a thing too. But I think that's gonna do it. Pirates, thank you so much. Obviously, if you can't monetarily support, don't worry about it. Share it with a friend. Like it on whatever platform you're listening to. I found out 46% of you listen to this on Spotify. So do me a favor, and if you've got this on there, feel free to like give it a rating. Give it a rating over on Spotify if that's a thing. And I'll see it. I'll see yours, especially yours. No, not yours. Yours right there. Yeah, you listening. No, not the person next to you. The other you, right? Yeah, you. Thank you. Okay. All right. We're good. So yeah, I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend. And as always, I love you, and I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
Following is a public service announcement from the Starter Set Dungeons & Dragons podcast. This is your D&D campaign. This is the Starter Set podcast. You know how like poison frogs don't lick each other's backs?
So it's Howl's Moving Castle with a face.
Hey there, I'm Great Mandibles.
Because one of the party speaks abyssal. You're all going to die.
And then adventure falls into your lap. Plop.
This is your D&D campaign after listening to the Starter Set podcast. So join Sam and Ed every Friday on the Starter Set podcast for prime Dungeons & Dragons content. Any questions?
Are you interested in keeping up with all the latest gaming news, but you're just too busy? Well, I've got the podcast for you. The Robots Radio Show is a daily gaming news show where I bring you in a quick format all the top news about video games, nerd culture, and even the best deals. You can find the Robots Radio Show on Spotify and Apple and all the different podcatchers, and you can join me live, twitch.tv/robotsradio at around noon Eastern every day. Come talk about game stuff with me. Again, that's the Robots Radio Show. Available everywhere.